Hi, welcome to Audiobook Academy. This is a self-paced audiobook. There's no need to keep an eye on things. Just pay attention. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Please respond to this question as soon as possible. What are you concentrating on? Was it reported in the press or on social media? Was that anything on which you were willing to spend 10 minutes? Alternatively, when you've finished watching the video. Or are you just wishing after reading that article? Wouldn't it be great if you could go back in time? Here's the thing, there's an important truth here. What you pay attention to becomes a part of you. Currently, a large number of advertisements are paying our bills. Being dragged from one stimuli to the next, however, you can have a unique experience. You have the ability to manage your focus. And of the person you're becoming, I became engrossed in the fantastic job. 12 years ago, there was no such thing as positive psychology. I've been using it as a framework ever since. To assist people in navigating life and becoming their best selves, this course will teach you how to. You'll learn to control your focus, so that you might form daily habits and specific tactics for transitioning from autopilot to agency, from wandering aimlessly to being in command of your life. You are the pilot of your life, and your compass is your attention. Now, as you progress through this course, keep the following in mind. I recommend doing it 1 week at a time. Don't view all of the classes at once. Instead, watch one lesson and put what you've learned into practice. It will instruct you for a week. Then watch the lesson after that, and so on. Allow the habits to build up and notice how much better your life becomes. Let's get this party started. You're undoubtedly aware that your mind wanders frequently. But do you realize how much it costs? And how it's limiting you from reaching your objectives? Simply take a sheet of paper and make 9 dots. The way they are now displayed on the screen now, using 4 straight lines, connect all 9 dots. Without taking your pen away from the page. Then without going back over any of the lines. Give it a shot, and if you need more time, pause the video. Were you successful in solving the 9-dot puzzle? The majority of us are incapable of doing so. Why? Because, after numerous failed attempts at solving it, you must visualize in a new manner. You'll have to think outside of the box. You are presumably restricted by your mind, just as you are likely limited by your mind. As a result of completing this puzzle, it may be preventing you from attaining your objectives. I'll show you how to do that in this lesson. Ways to get around these constraints through the process of seeing, believing, and acting to make something happen on purpose. You must first see it. Then believe in yourself and your abilities. And then plan your actions to get there. So let's get rid of the roadblocks that are keeping you from achieving your goals. The best version of yourself begin by looking. The first impediment to achieving your goal is defined as a loss of vision or clarity. To get there, you must see yourself at your best. What does it take for you to perceive yourself at your best? What methods do you use to think outside the box? One method is to engage in what I refer to as a peace of mind activity. Sit in a comfortable position for 5 minutes. Close your eyes and pay attention to your surroundings. After that, answer the following questions with a clear mind. What does it mean to be the best version of myself? In a year's time, how do I picture myself? 2 years from now, 5 years from now? You will benefit from answering these questions. Clearly see your objectives. The second impediment is a lack of faith. Yes, you can have a vision, but you won't be able to carry it out. It's possible that you don't think it's possible. To aid in the development of a genuine feeling of belief in yourself, try this to see what you're capable of. Make a mental image of the vision. Transform your vision into a colorful painting. Put it in a place where you'll see it every day. Make it a one-of-a-kind spot. Every morning, take a look at that drawing. And then take a few moments to assimilate what you've seen. The third impediment to becoming the finest version of yourself is the inability to act. It's worth noting that I didn't state lack of planning. The majority of us make preparations. You always have plans, but you never follow through. So let's get started. Take out your journal and respond to the questions below. What is there one thing I can do this week to get a better understanding of my vision? What are 3 things I can do this month to help myself to get a better understanding of my vision? What are 5 steps I can take this year to achieve my goals to get a better understanding of my vision? Manage your behaviors in accordance with them, whatever they are. By following these 3 steps, you'll be getting closer to having a life where you may achieve your objectives. Visualize yourself in your best light. Do you think it's possible? And take the steps you've identified. Once you've discovered your best self, the sky was not the limit, as you will see. Can you recall a time when you were corrected by a teacher? Specifically, when you were told by a teacher that you weren't doing something correctly, or that you were pondering something incorrectly. That has happened to a lot of folks. It also emphasizes how powerful external forces are. When we're kids, we have a lot of control over how we think. This lesson will teach you how to. I'll show you some of the ways your environment affects you. You have been shaped by it. Once you've figured out the frames you're utilizing to get around reality, you'll be able to get rid of the ones that are bothering you, that aren't assisting you in any way. The outcome is your identity. As a result of the interactions of many distinct elements, your genes, for example, are among the most important. Your surroundings, the decisions you made for the most part. Consequently, according to research on the Minnesota twins, you are made up of 55% genes and 45% environment. You can't change your DNA. However, you have control over your surroundings. If you alter your surroundings, you have the ability to change how your genes are expressed. So, what motivates you to do what you do? Why do you enjoy the things that you do? What drives you to become the person you are? As a result of the environment in which you grew up, certain items have been exposed to. Why are you speaking English rather than French? Because you were raised in an English-speaking environment rather than a French-speaking environment. There was no way for you to make a decision. As a result, we can conclude that you had no choice but to communicate in English. Until now, you haven't been able to express yourself in another language. Consider who you are. Consider why you do things the way you do. All of this is a result of interactions between people. Your genes, your surroundings, and some of your choices all play a role. To begin putting this knowledge to work for you, you must increase your self-awareness. You'd like to begin paying attention regarding the manner in which you are acting, that you may not be aware of. What frames are you using, specifically? To help you navigate your life, a frame is simply a method of approaching problems. Consider a difficult situation you faced throughout the previous week, then consider what will happen as a result of the situation. What decisions did you make that resulted in that result? And what motivates you to make such decisions? If the outcome went in your favor, then stick to the framework that guided your decisions. However, if the result was unhealthy or harmful to you, then take a closer look at why it is that way. In dealing with such situation, what frame did you use? Could you try anything different next time? Remember that you don't have complete control over who you are. However, you have power over how you approach the situation. In your life's challenges, continue to develop your self-awareness and curiosity. You've got it. Consider yourself at the age of 2. Then, at the age of 15. Then imagine yourself as you are right now. What evidence do you have that these are all the same person? If you're so different at each time, both psychologically and physically, how do you know you're the person you think you are? This is a revolutionary question. The solution is straightforward. You believe a story you've been telling yourself for a long time. Your entire life. This lesson will teach you how to. The narrative identity theory will be explained, and how it sheds light on not only who you are, but also who you want to be. Not only on who you can be, but also on who you can be. After that, you'll be able to take command. Take control of your story and become the person you want to be. According to the narrative identity theory, that the stories you tell yourself make you who you are. Consider yourself right now. You could be an expert in your subject. You pursued a career path and entered the workforce. As well as the fact that you define yourself as such. I work as an architect. I work as a programmer. What happened to cause that? Because it was just a few years ago that. That's when you began telling yourself that story. The journey to become an expert in your industry. However, this theory's incredible potency is that we take pleasure in the stories we use to tell ourselves that. Instead, you have the option of becoming tomorrow. Today's stories you tell yourself, so, whatever you believe today, that is what you will become tomorrow. What does a writer do with his or her stories? They are extremely disciplined and produce tens of thousands of pages per year. After that, they edit. This page, it doesn't appeal to me. This character, doesn't seem to belong here. And thus a lovely 200-page book is born. Hundreds of hours were spent in the process. The same can be said for you. In reality, your memories are severely hampered. So, rather than attempting to build an identity based on a faulty memory, concentrate on making a reality depending on the stories you've been telling yourself lately. If you don't like a part of your life, don't bring it up. You had an incredible project management experience, that's something you should talk about more regularly. Have you made a blunder? Stop telling yourself that you're a loser. When you say, I'm not good at these or that. You've made a blunder with something, stop telling yourself that you're a terrible person. And you claim that you made a blunder here or there. Your tale is written by you. You're the only one who can make decisions. You are the only one who is accountable for your well-being. That's you and your accomplishments. This is what is referred to as radical responsibility. Begin telling yourself this tale. You have complete control over your life. To take this seriously, begin to tell yourself a new story right now. What is your vision's narrative or story? What kind of person do you want to be? Once you've established it, move on to the next step. Make a note of it so you can see it later. And, as usual, keep practicing and devoting time to yourself. To think softly and discreetly, the more control you have over the narrative you tell yourself, the better. The more you practice, the closer you will come to creating the person you want to be. You're doing really well. Let's get started with a game. Read aloud the words that appear on the screen. And then there's this. There's one more. What exactly did you read, do you believe? Are you certain? There's a good chance you made a mistake. Yes. In each exercise, you most likely missed one word. Reread the sentences to double-check. What went wrong? Your ability to pay attention has failed you. Your brain must conserve energy. As a result, it took a detour. When your brain detects an inaccuracy or a blunder, it frequently overrides it. As a result, you don't even get a chance to notice the error. There's a chance that some of those shortcuts will backfire. A few of such unspoken procedures are getting you into trouble or having a negative impact on your life in a derogatory sense. The ability to pay attention is a crucial but restricted brain function. It's possible that it's being taken care of for you. This lesson will teach you how to. I'll go over our plan with you. For more information on how to begin regulating your attention, so that you can be a little happier and more productive. First and foremost, understand the significance of paying attention. Consider the following scenario. You're paying attention to what I'm saying. You're looking at someone on the screen. You may, however, concentrate your attention based on the background colors or the screen shape, or even begin to consider your to-do list. Or, you know what, maybe don't even consider the pink elephant. So you're thinking about that pink elephant now, right? You just switched your focus from one stimulus to another. My words have led me. We work on this all day, every day. However, the majority of the time, there is no guidance. That is why you must recapture your focus and attention. This is the most significant change you can do in your life to have the most influence. If you shift your focus, you'll notice a difference. you will completely transform your life. As I previously stated, you are defined by what you pay attention to. This is due to the fact that to pay attention to anything is to bring it to the forefront of your mind. You only have so much conscious time. As a result, you can only pay attention to so much. What you concentrate on will shape who you are. Then, to regain control of your attention, do this practice every day for just 10 minutes. Choose a moment when you can concentrate solely on yourself. And decide on a location where you can concentrate without being distracted by other factors and a place where you won't be disturbed. Make sure you're in a comfortable position. To reduce external input, close your eyes. Set a 10-minute timer. Just be with yourself for those 10 minutes. Concentrating your attention on a single anchor today, you have the option of choosing your breathing experience. As you're mooring, take note of how much you're inhaling. Take note of how much you're exhaling. That is all there is to it. Your mind will begin to wander. That's okay. When you see your thoughts drifting, take action. Simply return it to your anchor, the sensation of breathing. So, once a day this week, you'll set aside 10 minutes. You have only 10 minutes to concentrate on yourself. That is all there is to it. Allow yourself 10 minutes of solitude. There was no cell phone, no computer, and no other distractions. You, time, and a space are the only things you have. To simply focus on the sensation of breathing. Don't pass judgment on everything that happens. Be kind with yourself and have an open mind. Learning to pay attention is a cognitive skill that is often overlooked. However, it is a really effective technique. This approach will assist you in clearing your mind. Give yourself some breathing room to concentrate. By doing so, you will be able to do more. Let's get this lesson started. By gazing at the same image. What do you think you see? Your response was most likely a triangle or possibly two triangles. Or three concentric circles. However, if you pay close attention, there are no triangles or circles to be found. However, your head is filled with similar thoughts. That all you have to do is fill in the blanks. That is exactly what occurs in your head on a regular basis. We feel a minor tingling sensation in our finger. We'll fill up the void with suffering. There's a tingling sensation in your chest. I'm sad, and you fill in the blank. This lesson will teach you how to make the transition from your head to your body in order to make some room, so that you might live a better life. Between perceptions and sensations, the majority of us spend our lives in our heads. You most likely move quickly from stimuli to response, without even realizing what's going on. But what if you took the opportunity to pause and give yourself some breathing room before responding? If a stimulus exists, stay with a stimulus rather than leaping to conclusions. The majority of the time, we associate ourselves with our thoughts. This is known as a category error. Your thoughts do not make you who you are. Your observations are expressed in your thinking as well. Because it has a significant impact on your perceptions as a result of your sensations, and evolution recognizes the distinction between your thoughts and the thoughts of others. As well as your bodily experiences will enable you to create the necessary space. This place will also help you break one bad thinking habit. Rumination. Consider the last time you were chastised. Or the fact that you got bad comments. How did that make you feel? Perhaps you felt a heaviness in your chest. Alternatively, you may find yourself tightening your fists. In any case, I'm guessing that you might still be harboring a bad emotion that is not healthy toward that person, and that is not healthy. That sensation you got when you were being chastised, it's possible that it's turned into a thought. Why did he say it to me? Is it possible that I'm a failure? Is it true that I am this or that? For a few seconds, I had a simple physiological sensation. Can turn into a rumination in your mind. It can endure seconds, minutes, hours, or even days. To avoid this happening again the next time you get that feeling, try to put some distance between your body's sensations, as well as the internal judgment process that takes place. You will be less reactive if you can accomplish that. You'll be able to decide where you want to travel next. With more liberty, I understand if that sounds easier said than done. It's quite difficult to do it while you're in a bad mood. But there is something you can start doing right now. Even when you are not irritated, you should practice this. As a result, throughout the next week, give yourself 12 minutes of complete concentrate. Find a time and place where you can be alone once a day. Pay attention to your body. Get out of your thoughts and stop judging. Sensing to your body, these truly make a difference in your life. It may appear unusual at first. However, with time, it will become second nature to take the time to react. What's the most number of persons you've seen? Wearable devices that are complex who keeps track of their physical activities? Quite a bit. Perhaps you have one of your own. Has it aided you in your fitness goals? Not by a long shot. Why? Because getting around has become a chore, a slog, and when it starts to feel like a hassle, put it out of your mind. Following this lesson, you will comprehend the significance of movement. And you'll have the ability to incorporate in your everyday life, to keep striving to be your best self. When you're ready to relocate, take a shower, your brain. With serotonin and dopamine waters, endorphins, oxytocin, there are numerous substances that make us feel wonderful. However, in a culture where people work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you're probably stuck to your chair for 8 hours. Having only 5 hours to complete the remaining tasks you must do in order to survive, eating, commuting, and household chores, it's all done on autopilot. Allow me to share some information with you. You've lost track of how long you've been alive. Sitting is bad for you. As well as a slew of other well-known bad habits. As a result, establish a routine. Every 45 minutes, and every 45 minutes, and every 45 minutes, and taking a walk is a good idea. It doesn't have to be a long letter. It'll only take a few minutes, you can then return to your task. There are numerous studies available promoting the beneficial effects of movement on happiness and success. You can also be more imaginative if you move about. The performance was truly measured by the researchers. Folks who are seated versus those who are moving, and those who were on the go, 60% more imaginative, as well as improved results compared to those who were simply sitting. You could say, I, on the other hand, get up and move throughout the day. I either go to the kitchen or the automobile. Sure. However, you are oblivious to the movement. Why? As a result of your typical mental state currently isn't in the present, rather it's somewhere else. Participating in our movement will assist you in being more present, more focused, and more appreciative of life. You are alive if you are moving. And if you're still alive, you have the ability to change and grow. Next, consider movement. Not only as a physical exercise, but also as a mental activity, but it's also a mental activity. You're stymied at work? Move. Are you paralyzed when it comes to giving a presentation? Exit the meeting room and take a walk around the block. Take a deep breath and return. This will give you a boost of energy. When you're feeling tense, keep your chin up, relax your shoulders, and simply unwind. Do you have a meeting scheduled? Organize a walk-in meeting. Do you have a long phone call ahead of you? Take it for a walk. Are you heading to the grocery store? Select a parking location that is far away from the entrance. This isn't the one. According to the United States Department of State, Department of Health and Human Services, a daily movement of 20 minutes will leave you in excellent physical condition. To obtain better results to break this bad behavior, let's get this week started. By deciding on a time during the day to go for a 15-minute walk. Yes, it was a 15-minute stroll on my own. With yourself, you. There was no music and no smartphone. I'm not going to do any housework. It will be a defined, planned period of time. To make movement a part of your life, and once you're on the move, everything will fall into place. Let's do a test. I'm going to fill this balloon with air. Let's attempt to pop it with a finger, shall we? Using a pen with the help of a nail boom. Similarly to this balloon, you have internal resources, such as air. This allows you to stay afloat when it comes to obstacles, though. If you haven't put in the necessary defenses, you're at risk of exploding. With the little challenges, you might not fall into problems. However, if a genuine obstacle arises, you won't be able to deal with the stress. I'll show you how to do that in this lesson. To develop stress management practices, in order for you to have a happier and more productive life. Consider the following scenario. You awoke, went through your morning rituals, the eggs were salty, and the coffee was stale. It's raining and freezing outside, and traffic appears to be increasing. When you arrive at work, the parking lot are completely full. You've made it into the structure. Hello, Mr. X, and how was your weekend? It's Monday, after all. A teammate presents you with an unfavorable report. How do you feel about it? Consider the following scenario. You've awoken. Your morning ritual was followed, and the eggs were wonderful. Also, the coffee was excellent. It's a beautiful day. The traffic situation is fine. You commute to work since you live close to the office. I made it to the structure. Mr. X, how are you doing this morning? Great. The weekend was fantastic. A teammate also brings you a negative report. How do you feel about it? As a result, stress isn't a single truth. It's a continuous flow of energy into your body. To deal with the problems that life throws at you on a regular basis. Anything that necessitates an emotional response is considered stressful. Your adaptive response is commendable. As a result, it has become a natural part of your existence. So, what exactly is the issue with stress? That our stress reaction is frequently triggered is not the one that the environment requires. We assign because there is a pain outside of the balloon. Resources for dealing with a nail, we came to an end of exhaustion. However, it's possible that there is a nail and we're just missing it. Set aside resources to deal with a pen. Now, I'd want to ask you a question. You've been an adult for a while now. When was the last time you felt completely relaxed? You're probably exhausted. What are your options for getting out of this predicament? You will be able to connect with your body by doing an exercise to connect with your body. Create this area to begin deciding on your options. Responses to everyday problems to be more proactive rather than reactive. What physical sensations do you have when you're stressed? The heart rate and blood pressure rise. The rate of respiration rises. So, let's get our brains and bodies in rhythm with our breathing. You can control your breathing by doing so. You'll be able to control your stress response because it'll be automated. Will cause your heart rate to calm down, improve your immune system, and lower your blood pressure. Allow yourself 15 minutes of breathing room this week. Make use of time and space to bring your body and mind together. Choose a solitary position that is comfortable for you. Set a timer for 15 minutes and concentrate solely on the task at hand. The sensation of inhaling and exhaling. Please return once your thoughts have wandered. Back to the present moment's experience, to the sensation of inhaling and exhaling. Everything begins with air and continues with water. The warm-up exercise at the start to keep the balloon from popping, it necessitates the proper amount of oxygen. In the appropriate length of time, keep an eye on your balloon. Consider the last time you experienced frustration. You make me feel horrible, you might have remarked. You're a bully. That is not something I want to do right now. You are not alone if this sounds familiar to you. However, sentences like those should be avoided. Abandon you to the whims of your emotions as well as several years of development. Following this lesson, you'll be able to use a framework to help you to be able to listen, comprehend, and control your emotions in order to see things from a different perspective. You've probably heard of emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman popularized the concept in the 1990s. Who has done research on high achievers, he discovered that one of the most important factors in achieving success and growing in life is having a positive attitude. Your IQ or intellectual quotient was not the issue, but your emotional quotient, EQ. However, before you can become emotionally intelligent, you must first become emotionally intelligent. You must develop emotional literacy. Emotions are biological or psychological responses. But it's usually your emotions that set you off. To carry out specific tasks, your emotions, on the other hand, are merely bits of data. They aren't the only pieces of information to think about. When making a choice, it's the equivalent of buying a house solely for the sake of the garden. As a result, you must learn to control your emotions. Improving your emotional regulation is one approach to do so. The ABCD framework is an acronym for ABC, BC, D. The framework's initial stage is A, which stands for awareness. Or pay attention to. Have you ever sat in a physical position for an extended period of time, only to discover afterwards that your arm or leg is numb? This is what paying attention to your feelings does. Your mental life becomes more emotional when you pay attention to it. The numb leg is similar to the numb leg. You can have a number of numb feelings. Imagine having your leg go numb for a day or two. Or a few weeks. Do you believe your emotions might be affected in this way? Yes, it is correct. You can't live with a numb leg, just like you can't live with a numb arm. You can't live with emotionless feelings. The B is the next stage. Take a chance and feel what you're feeling. You must act as though you were a child, curious and pleasant. Treat your feelings as if they were brand new. Refrain from overthinking them. The crux of the problem is emotional avoidance. Of the majority of psychological issues, then there's C, which stands for create distance. Isn't 2020 the year of hindsight? This is a comparable situation. If you put some distance between yourself and your emotions, you can watch it, recognize it, and learn more about it. Feelings, thoughts, and compulsions, internal and transient occurrences, and not components of your world that are permanent. After that, D, direct. You can understand the emotions because of the distance. And now you have the ability to control its power. In a way that promotes your success, choose a path for your feelings. You have the ability to see reality from various views while you're rephrasing. Different meanings might be derived from the same conditions. Then decide which one you want to support. That is the essence of liberty. You have the ability to be liberated. Instead of responding to a tough scenario in the future, plan forward. You can make a different decision by using the ABCD framework. Try out the ABCD format this week. You'll be able to do it on paper once you've mastered it. You can begin doing it right away. Do you want to live an extra 7 years? Then accept your good feelings. If you think that's a little foolish, you're right. Allow me to tell you about the nun research. The nuns in this study drafted a letter about what it means to be accepted. Prior to entering the convents, they were admitted to the order. The nuns who recounted the encounter were confirmed to be accurate by the researchers. In more positive words, he lived 7 years longer than the others. As a result, framing life in a positive light is important. It appears to be paying off. I'll show you how to build the habit in this lesson of selecting happy feelings. Let's begin with a basic exercise. I'll say a few words. Whenever I say the term, try to come up with as many synonyms as you can. To give yourself extra time, you may even pause the video. The first word is lovely. The second word is unattractive. Which term was the most difficult to come up with synonyms for? You have a 2-to-1 probability of winning. There are more synonyms for ugly than there are for lovely. Why? There are several causes for this. The first is that the Oxford Dictionary is a great resource. Has a ratio of 2-to-1 between adverbs that are negative and adverbs that are positive. Negative words are preferred over good ones. As a result, your tone already reinforces the negative. Furthermore, we are vulnerable to something. Negativity bias is what it's called. It's human nature to focus on the bad elements of things. First and foremost, however, once you realize that inclination in yourself, you can do something about it. You are not obligated to continue in that direction. Instead, you can choose to begin concentrating on good feelings. Positive feelings come in a wide variety of forms. How many of them do you encounter on a daily basis? Joy, gratitude, enjoyment, and amusement are the top 10. Tranquility, hope, pride, and curiosity are all words that come to me when I think of the word serenity. The words inspiration, awe, and love come to mind. According to the broaden and build theory, that good feelings spread your mental and behavioral repertoire. The more good emotions you concentrate on, the better. The more innovative and resilient you are, the more successful you will be. Fixating on negative feelings, on the other hand, encourages immediate survival measures. Things will benefit you in the short run. However, in the long run, this may not be the case. As a result, living a life full of good feelings will benefit you. To live a more fulfilling and productive life, this is also due to the fact that happy emotions assist you. Increase your working memory, strengthen your immune system. A broad-based approach to problem solving, increase your ability to think outside the box. In order to begin living a happier life, you must first try out these 2 routines. To begin, make a calendar of happy emotions. The idea is to take a piece of paper once a day. Make a list of 3 pleasant emotions in your notebook you have on that particular day. Then consider what you've learned. What were your thoughts on the subject? Were you aware of any physical sensations while experiencing the feelings? What feelings or experiences are you experiencing right now? Second, work on focusing your attention to a pleasant feeling. Make a conscious effort to feel at least one good emotion each day. You may accomplish this by devoting a few minutes to it. As well as prepare yourself for what you're about to encounter, a good emotion that is expressed consciously. It could be anything, such as a new taste you'd like to try, a hug to a family member, a thank you note to someone. Simply savor the emotion and take note of how it makes you feel. The more you do these 2 exercises, the better you will become. The more you improve the quality, the better, as well as the length of your life. No amount of regret can change what happened in the past. No amount of foresight can alter your destiny. However, any amount of thankfulness will alter your current situation. So, what do you think you're seeing here? Naturally, some may claim that they perceive a half-empty glass. Others will claim that they see a half-filled glass. However, some may argue that I desired more water. Or I don't like water and would rather drink soda. If you are appreciative, on the other hand, the glass and the water will be greatly appreciated. I'll show you how to do that in this lesson. How to cultivate the habit of gratitude to assist you in deepening your understanding of the world around you. The ability to observe, appreciate, and be grateful is referred to as gratitude. And enjoy the various aspects of one's life. It might be felt or experienced as an emotion. It can, however, be a skill or a personality feature you cultivate in yourself. Gratitude is also an act of self-sacrifice, as well as to others. When you notice the things in your life for which you are grateful, it is easier to be grateful. And you are grateful for them. You carry the good vibes with you in your everyday interactions. Next, gratitude has the capacity to bring you closer to life. In a very other way, consider this: you were born one day. You were given a name, skin color, eyes, and language. To some degree, everything has been provided to you, we can say. So, what are your plans for that? Gratitude has this kind of power. It aids in viewing life and its contents as a gift. When you receive a gift, how do you react? What if you could have that sensation on a daily basis? The purpose of thankfulness is to achieve this. Simply by seeing things, you can improve your mood. As a gift to others, relationships, and circumstances. The sun is shining, the rain is falling, and the trees are swaying. The highways, the food on your plate. When you look at life through the eyes of thankfulness, it's a lovely thing. So, why is it preferable to be thankful for water, rather than concentrating on whether or not is the glass half full or half empty? Gratitude makes you feel better, and your physical well-being in several ways. Individuals who express their gratitude to one another tend to be more forgiving of others. As well as being less narcissistic, gratitude is also linked to a high level of pleasant emotion. It is living life in a favorable manner with a higher level of life satisfaction. It is these that it imparts. By causing a decrease in cortisol, the stress hormone. In 2015, researchers conducted research. Patients with heart failure, it was discovered, who had a gratitude diary filled out demonstrated a reduction in inflammation and an improvement in sleep and improved moods. Keeping a thankfulness notebook is a great way to start. Participants reported 16% less bodily symptoms as a result of the intervention. 19% extra time spent exercising. Physical pain is reduced by 10%. 8% more sleep and a 25% improvement in sleep quality. Begin cultivating a grateful mindset today. Keeping a thankfulness notebook is a good idea. This is a straightforward but effective activity. This will assist you in being more appreciative and happier, as well as more efficient. As a result, once a day. Throughout the day, write down 3 things for which you are grateful. You are grateful for those items for a variety of reasons. Also, keep in mind that any amount of thankfulness can alter your current situation. Give it a shot right now. What was the last time you made a promise to yourself? There's an 8 out of 10 probability it was whatever it was, that you didn't go through with it. Indeed, personal resolutions are made by 8 out of 10 persons. They don't get the results they want. That's a lot of failure in a short period of time. And what if you didn't keep your word? You promised yourself. You are responsible for a small portion of that failure. It doesn't have to be that way though. Why did you fall short of your promise to yourself? There are most likely a slew of events, circumstances, and variables at play. You name it, procrastination. At the end of the day though, you are the only one who is accountable to you. You are in charge of your own failure. Alternatively, you can be the master of your own success. This lesson will teach you how to. I'll show you how to take control of your situation. Using the Acr Framework, create your own personal agency. Ultimately, this will lead to a successful existence. Intention, vision, and action are the 4 pillars of the Acr Framework. And contemplation. Following Albert Bandura's work, I was able to grow as a person. Research on self-efficacy. His belief was that if you have the ability to do something, you should do it. To imagine yourself in a new future meant you had a one-of-a-kind ability to shape your life. IVAR. Intention is the initial aspect of the structure. Refers to the act of deciding on a course of action. This intention functions similarly to a goal. You determine your intention by asking yourself a series of questions. What you wish to accomplish, however, keep in mind that your goal is to help others. Others are unavoidably involved. As a result, you'll have to rely on others. To make your intention a reality, make sure you're not doing it at the expense of others. Cooperate with them to achieve your goal. The following step is to develop a vision. Your vision plan serves as a link between 2 points. Between where you are now and where you want to be in the future. It's the evolution of your firm over time. Create a vision for the future, a goal, and a plan to achieve it. And plan out the routes you'll need to travel to get there by devising a strategy. This is what you'll remember for the rest of your life. To serve as a motivator and guide goals that can be seen, guide behavior. And the expected outcomes. Plan and strategize to achieve your goal. It is not the future state that propels you forward. It's what you're doing right now. As a result, make advantage of your predicted results. To have an impact on your current actions, the next step is to take action. You can't get anywhere if you don't take action. Action is the only way to realize one's goals and ambitions. As a result, do your best. Your accomplishments are your deeds. And it is only through hard work that one can succeed. Because action propels you closer to your goal. Remember that self-control is the key to taking action. This entails putting off satisfaction and making compromises. Finally, pause for thought. This is the point at which you evaluate your development, as well as its functionality. During this step, try to adopt a learning framework. It is not a mistake to try anything for the first time. It's a chance to learn something new. Be willing to learn from your mistakes and make any necessary modifications. Let's do the 1-year forecasting exercise now. The Acr Framework will be used. Consider a goal that is meaningful to you within the first year, and make it a part of your intention. Make a plan in your mind. Begin taking action on the precise actions, then consider how close you are to completing your challenge. You are your own personal representative. What are your objectives? You're either your excuses or your accomplishments. Are you willing to take on the challenge? Individually, America used to have the quickest swimmers. But we didn't win as a team for 8 years in a row. Swimming in a team, on the other hand, isn't all that different. Compared to swimming alone, swimming isn't like basketball or football in the sense that it's a team sport. A sport in which teammate interaction is essential. So, what was the team's problem? They had some incredible individual stars. However, they were unrelated. It wasn't until the 4 of them got together that everything started to fall into place. Then when they realized they were in a competition for the sake of a nation as a whole, that they were once again able to capture the gold medal. When people feel a sense of belonging to something bigger than themselves, you will be able to construct after this lesson a personal statement that ties your interests together, strengths, as well as a favorable impact as part of a compelling story. Having a sense of purpose in life entails feeling genuinely connected to a higher purpose than yourself, a goal that plays to your talents and makes a positive difference in the world. Having a connection like this boosts your motivation, assisting you in overcoming obstacles and achieving your objectives. Having a purposeful life is also beneficial. You state your objectives in a larger story that includes yours, the past, the present, and the future. It gives the impression of coherence, as well as a feeling of control. This can be accomplished in a variety of ways. Being a part of a family, a team, or a company, pursuing creative and intellectual pursuits, taking part in social activism, and holding a job as a calling. You can experience it. Whatever method you use to create a meaningful life, this will offer you a sense of accomplishment and the conviction that you have led a good life. To begin creating your sense of meaning, consider the following suggestions. Try telling yourself a motivational story in the style of a poem, in the form of a personal mission statement. To construct a mission statement, first think about what you want to achieve. That is really important to me, and compel you to join us in action. You must tread carefully in 4 key areas. First and foremost, there are passions. Passions are feelings that last a long period, make you feel energized, and encourage you to continue showing up in your life regardless of the conditions. So, when you were 8 years old, what did you enjoy doing? 16 and 24 years old, respectively. Second, there are advantages. Natural talents or dispositions are examples of strengths that assist you in completing tasks in a specific manner. For you, it's nearly second nature. That appears to be effortless. Ask yourself, how do I know what my strengths are? What are your inherent talents? What activities cause you to lose track of time, and how do you deal with it when you're carrying things out? Finally, there is the issue of impact. The result of your repeated activities is impact. So, how do you make a difference in other people's lives? What is your contribution's carbon footprint? Finally, there's the practical. Your goal must be feasible and attainable, and should be able to assist you in meeting your basic requirements. As a human being, you have. Consider whether you can meet your fundamental necessities. What is the point of living? Once you've established a clear mission statement, you can move on to the next step. You might begin to construct your life around it. And there are numerous advantages to this. Feeling as if your life has meaning signifies that you are aware of your surroundings. Because you are in it, it is a different place. The world has changed, and it is a better place now. Because you're here. Are you a right-handed or a left-handed person? When you write something, what happens? With your favored hand? What if you attempted to write the same thing with the hand that isn't your dominant one? What is it like to write with each of them? Which one is more enjoyable, and how do the outcomes differ? Which one do you think looks better, and why? The solution is straightforward: strengths. With one hand, you are more skillful than with the other. It's simple to observe how your strengths contribute to improved results. In this case, the experiences and outcomes are as follows. But what about more difficult situations? Finding flow is the solution. Creating a flow or balance between your strengths and taking on a challenge is a surefire way to begin living a more contented and productive life. You will be able to create an action plan after this lesson. To increase the number of flow moments, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi investigated high achievers. For quite some time, he and his colleagues developed a plan based on their studies. Developed the flow theory. Flow is a subjective experience, a state of being completely absorbed in a task. This is a difficult task, but one that can be accomplished. It's a satisfying feeling to be concentrated and engrossed in a task that aids your growth. When you're in the zone, you're in the zone. You're utilizing your strengths or skills to make an impact. A healthy balance between them and the difficulty indistinct. Your sense of time is also changed. Once you dive into complete focus on the task, you're completely absorbed, but you have a nagging suspicion of being in command while you work toward your goal. So let's concentrate on the two most important factors: the advantages and disadvantages. A situation or activity that poses a difficulty is referred to as a challenge. That necessitates your exertion in order to keep up with reality's demands. Personal traits are the strengths. Can assist you in operating in a consistent manner in order to obtain more. That is why it is simpler and quicker to use your dominant hand to write. There's a strength in you. There is no strength in the hand that is less dominating. As a result, the challenge. So, in order to have more flow moments, to have these experiences, which are enjoyable, but also aid in your development, you must be aware of your own strengths and which challenges are the most appropriate for them. To begin, consider the three most important factors. And the happiest times of your life. What exactly were you doing? What strengths are you relying on? What, if any, challenges did you face? Fill in the blanks on this graph using your experiences. What percentage of your strengths were you utilizing? What was the difficulty level of the experience? Those times when you're up against it, moments of flow, are when you're at your best. If there aren't any moments of flow, strive to make them. If you're not sure what your strengths are, have a look at this list. To discover out, try taking a test. The VIA Character Strengths Assessment is one of my favorites. However, any one of these will be beneficial. Then consider how you could put those skills to use to help you get through whatever is bothering you right now. Go for it, whatever the task may be. If you make sure to use your strengths as a foundation, you'll be okay. You're going to be okay. Strengths aren't enough to get you where you want to go. Whether it's a minor aim or a big one, such as taking more walks, or a long one, getting a promotion at work, for example. Continuous work is required for success. Consider the use of language. How long did it take you to figure out how to communicate? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? You probably needed 4 years to speak coherently. So you've been working for 4 years to achieve something you were born to do. That's the issue when you're trying to accomplish something. A different aspect of life, you become irritable and lose sight of how long learning takes. You must cultivate grit, or the ability to persevere in the face of adversity. Following this lesson, you'll be able to put this grit concept into practice toward your objectives so that you can start achieving them. Angela Duckworth claims that grit is a combination of determination and desire. Grit is a never say die attitude. It is a very high level of self-control. Passion is now a powerful feeling that you have been having for a long time. Anything that gives you a boost of energy and ensures that you continue to show up in your life, regardless of the circumstances. Perseverance, on the other hand, is defined as consistent effort throughout time. Regardless of the conditions, I could have begun talking right now. When it comes to inspiring examples of grit, Michael Phelps, Tiger Woods, and LeBron James are some of the most well-known athletes in the world. However, this may divert attention away from ordinary people, as well as you and me. So let's chat about you and consider you. What do you consider to be your greatest achievement thus far in life? What is anything you are very proud of? Consider that while you're thinking about it. What are the components of that accomplishment? Probably a lot, but one of them would almost certainly be persistence and passion are required in order to live a fulfilling life. Of success, progress, and advancement, you should concentrate on grit. What are your assets, talents, and abilities? What exactly is the goal you're aiming for? Go for it and be tough. If that sounds like too much growth, here's an example of a framework I like. It's known as WOOP. What exactly do you aim to achieve, wish? What do you hope to achieve as a result? What are some of the potential roadblocks? What are your plans for getting there? What strategy will you use to reach your goal? And dodge the stumbling blocks? Preparing things ahead of time is a good idea. Means your grit will have a place to land. Today is also a good time to assess your grit. Utilizing the grit scale on the internet also, keep in mind that grit is a greater predictor of success. IQ is not a better predictor of success. To give you an example, despite the fact that the military has its own grading system for determining who is the best candidate for surviving West Point, the grit scale, it turns out, is a superior predictor. Which cadets will make it through the rigorous training? So I challenge you to achieve your goals. Let's start with 1. Make a New Year's resolution the next time you make one. You'll be one of the select few who manage to maintain it. What do you consider to be the most essential aspect of your life? Family, friends, and work come to mind. There's one thing that all of those responses have in common: relationships. In reality, the quality of your life depends on it. It all relies on how good your relationships are. That is supported by one of the most extensive research in psychology. The Harvard Study of Adult Development is a research project that looks into the development of adults. For more than 75 years, researchers followed the lives of 724 adults. What is the single most important discovery? We are healthier and happier when we have good relationships. This lesson will teach you how to. I'll show you how to prioritize your interpersonal interactions. Help enhance the quality of your life and work. Humans are social creatures. If you examine your life, you will notice that it's woven with threads, as you'll notice. Of interpersonal relationships, we are where we are now as humans. Because we were able to interact, collaborate, and in overcoming life's natural obstacles, we aren't the fastest or the strongest. Neither the largest nor the smallest animals, however, we have managed to live and thrive. Why? Because we are linked. The same may be said for you as a person. Other people's connections have been quite important in terms of where you've gotten thus far in life, and that connection will be crucial. I wish you continued success and growth in the future. So, how can you use the power of connection to your advantage? To be more content and productive? How can you develop a habit of connecting? Begin by connecting on purpose. Make an effort to connect with someone. Something you make an effort to accomplish every day. In the morning, when you see someone, connect with that person on a deep level. Please say hello. Look them in the eyes. They shook their hands. Even a minor alteration can make a difference. There is a part of your brain dedicated to this. That's only concerned with recognizing faces. FFA stands for fusiform facial area. When you interact with others in a positive way, you may achieve a lot. Chemicals that make you feel good are rewarded by your brain. As a result, your brain is wired to encourage communication. Have you ever played peekaboo with a young child? You can see why they appreciate it now. Then keep in mind the studies that demonstrate all of these advantages of connecting. You'll discover that it's not the quantity of relationships you have that matters. It is, however, the nature of those interactions that matters. So don't be concerned about the number of buddies you have. Concentrate on forming powerful, long-lasting bonds with the individuals who are most important to you. Isolated evolution is impossible. So, this week, concentrate on completing one easy activity. Perform a random act of kindness for someone you don't know. This doesn't have to be a stranger, but it certainly could be. You could begin by doing a kind deed for a buddy that they hadn't anticipated. Then, if you're looking for a bonus, for 5 seconds, try hugging someone who means a lot to you. All it takes for your brain to release oxytocin is that. A hormone that makes you feel fantastic, and keep in mind that even little measures can have a big impact. Will last for a very long time. It's more essential how you communicate than what you say. Then what you're saying. This has been extensively researched. Google and HarperCollins conducted independent studies. Have arrived to a same conclusion. It's more important how you communicate. Compared to what you're truly saying, it's even more crucial for the end result. Rather than your personality or specialized qualities, consider the following. However, effective communication is quite difficult. It doesn't matter if you're at work or at home. What is the best way to strike the correct balance between focusing on what's most essential to you and paying attention to what matters to those around you? Setting boundaries and communicating your requirements are essential components of a happy life. Following your viewing of this video, you'll have 2 basic frameworks to work with, which will assist you in ensuring that you have covered all of your bases, as well as efficient communication. The middle ground framework is the first framework. You look for the perfect middle ground in this framework. Between 2 communication extremes, being completely passive is one extreme. The other, on the other hand, is combative. When you're passive, you constantly put yourself last. Other people's beliefs and needs take precedence over your own. Aggression is always putting your own beliefs first, no matter what, in front of others. Assertiveness is the middle ground. This entails asserting your own rights without jeopardizing other people's rights. So, the next time you're in a tense circumstance and need to communicate, remember these tips. Consider this: is it true that I am advocating for my own wants and beliefs? Furthermore, am I acknowledging and respecting myself at the same time? What are the needs and beliefs of others? The second structure that you can employ is to use assertive communication to its full potential. The Acr Framework is an example of this. Active, constructive, and responding. ACR is an acronym for active, constructive, and responsive. This example illustrates 4 possible responses when someone gives you information. The first is passively destructive. When the individual who receives the information doesn't know what to do with it, isn't interested in the information offered, changing the conversation's focus. Tonight, I'd like to have something nutritious for dinner. Please respond. Joshua has invited us to supper tomorrow, honey. Do you wish to accompany us? The second is passive constructive. When someone responds in a passive manner and is incompatible with the scenario, for dinner, I'd like to have something nutritious. Answer: oh, that's lovely, that's excellent for you. The third is active destruction. When a person is actively attacked, it is referred to as assault. Who disqualifies by communicating the information for dinner, I'd like to have something nutritious. Really? You're never in the kitchen. The fourth is busy and constructive. When someone reacts to the knowledge, it's called response. With keen attention and zeal, this is the time when they start asking inquiries that make it easier to interact with the information for dinner. I'd like to have something nutritious. That's a fantastic idea, honey. Let's have some chicken salad. Putting the last response to the test, a proactive, positive response delivers a boost to everyone's well-being during the discussion. So this week, make an effort to communicate with others on purpose. In a confident, engaged, and constructive manner, you're well on your road to making new friends and living a more fulfilling life. Hopefully, you're becoming more aware of your feelings, and you'll have better control over your attention. As you are aware, even if you don't yet feel such emotions, you have the abilities to complete them. As you proceed on your journey, in the direction of a happy and fulfilling life, remember that there are numerous resources available. But don't get too carried away. Concentrate all of your efforts on a single goal during the course of a year and put all of the tools we've looked at to good use. There are certainly resources available to assist you. The science of getting from where you are to where you want to be to get you where you want to go. The Tim Ferriss Show is a podcast I suggest. Tim Ferriss deconstructs it in it. The habits of a high-performing individual and provides practical recommendations to incorporate into your daily routine.